Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first. The best sports podcast there is, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. We got a great episode here for you today on May 19th, 2022. We got some callers calling in today from the voicemail. Can't wait to check that out. Great topics. Again, the NBA playoffs is here. So many great things. You got baseball season, so that's going to be coming up around the corner. Football season is heating up as well, so we're getting there. The sports world is going crazy right now, but right now we're focusing on the basketball playoffs, the NBA playoffs. And with that being said, I don't want to talk your ear off no more, so let's get into the show. You know how I like to do it, starting it off with some news for the run. All right, so for news for the run of May 19th, 2022, the Orlando Magic have won the NBA draft lottery while winning the number one pick in this year's draft. So, hey, congrats to all y'all my Orlando Magic fans out there. And then for pick number 1 through 5, I'll read it off really quick. You got the Oklahoma City Thunder with pick number 2 in the draft, the Houston Rockets at 3, Sacramento Kings at number 4 in the draft lottery, and my Detroit Pistons with pick number 5 in the draft lottery. So I'm happy about that. I will say I'm happy we got close because we had the number 1 pick last year. So I'm cool with that. All right, and last night in game 1, the Golden State Warriors stomped on the Dallas Mavericks 112-87. We'll touch more on that later on in the show. And the Miami Heat, they were too much for the Boston Celtics in game 1, winning 118-107. All right, and the lyric, man, the man once said, Western Road flows, my confidence level getting settled. Don't get hyped for the moment, then start the back pedal. Don't get hyped for the moment, then start the back pedal. Who's that lyric by? Drizzy Drake. If you didn't already figure that out, but this might apply to so many different things. You might have a good business idea. You don't want it to die down because you didn't put the work in. So don't start backpedaling. Or maybe it's in your relationship with your significant other. You know, things went great when y'all first met, but you know, y'all getting one small argument and now you're backpedaling. You're letting things go down. There's always resistance to the fight through anything in the second half of whatever you're doing. Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat started game 1 fairly slow against the Boston Celtics in game 1. Jimmy only had 8 points in the first half. The team trailed by just about 9 or 10 points, damn near the whole half. And Miami only made 4 of their 14 three-pointers through that first half. And to capitalize on all of that, Jason Tatum and the Celtics were just having the time of their life that first half. They were balling out. But notice here. I said the first half. I didn't say the game. I'm only talking about the first half of this game. Because when they came out in the second half, this team had picked up the intensity on defense. They picked up the intensity on offense. They picked it all up, and they came out. They started knocking down threes. They tightened up on defense, made the Celtics struggle, forced multiple turnovers from the Boston Celtics, and they changed the course of this game significantly when they came out that second half and did not backpedal. They got hype. One of these teams got hyped, the other team started to backpedal, and then now we had ourselves a ball game. So this is really when the game started to get to a crucial point, because Boston, they scored 42 of their 62 points in the paint that first half. But when they came out the second half and Miami started fighting back, they only scored 8 points in the second half. That's all. They limited them to 8 points the entire second half in the paint. And then they forced 8 turnovers in the third quarter alone. And you just got to give Miami Heat the credit here. They played an amazing game 1 when they came out and flipped it around. And that was something that was very significant in why they won this game. But in contrast, I have to keep it a beat, and I have to be 100% realistic about the situation here. You got to hold the Boston Celtics accountable. More specifically, Jason Tatum. I got to hold you accountable because you had a huge first half, but you came out in the second half and you only gave us one shot You gave us one shot in that entire second half. You can't win a game when your star player is not making anything and not as aggressive and not making shots fall down. And you got Jaylen Brown there, but Jaylen Brown, he tried to go on a run and tried to help propel the Celtics, but it was only so much he could do. And it was toward the end of the game in Miami Heat. They didn't let up. So it was credit to Miami Heat. The role players failed to play well in the second half as well. They shot 2 for 15 from deep. They weren't good. And the killer of this game here in game one for the Celtics and what really did it for them was that they continued to turn the ball over. And they continued to turn the ball over and over. And that was the huge thing there, because while Miami's going on this big run, they're forcing these turnovers. And not only were they forcing these turnovers, they were scoring off of these turnovers. So that was the huge killer for the Boston Celtics, is that they continued to turn the ball over and over and over and over throughout the game and throughout the stretch when they needed to make a run. But it's going to be cool here. We clearly have a series on our hands. And I think the biggest takeaway from game one, and that will matter throughout this series here, is that the start and finish for these teams flipped. The Celtics, they started good, but they finished the game bad. Miami, they started bad, but they finished the game good. So for the Miami Heat, they have to start better and make sure they can continue to keep up that intensity if they want to pull off this series and continue to make their shots as they did in the second half, but bring that to the first half. And for the Celtics, they got to find a way to put the ball in a hoop. You have to make shots. You have to make shots, especially during crucial stretches of the game. You got to make your shots, and that's something they did not do. And if Miami is going to force them to shoot threes, they got to drop. If they're going to force you to back up off the line and drive to the paint, you got to be able to find a way to put that ball in the hoop. That's the biggest thing for the Celtics. It's a game of adjustments, though. It's a game of adjustments, and it's only game one. Game one is the tester. You gotta get a feel for the new team that you're playing. It's a sparring match. So I'm still sticking true to my word here with the Celtics in 6. I'm going with the Celtics in 6. Game 2, I'm picking Boston. Game 2 is going to Boston. I think they got a good feel for the team that they're playing now, and they'll come out with a new pride, with a new sense of pride and a new sense of urgency playing in Miami one more time. But it's going to be great to see. We'll take a quick break here, and then once we come back, we'll jump into our voicemail, see what people had to say, see what questions, comments they mentioned about sports, or it probably even wasn't about sports, so we'll figure it out. I only listened to a couple of them, but so some of them will catch me by surprise, and let's do it. But until then, we'll take a quick break. If you want to call in the meantime, call 219-413-9405. Now, you know, just because you're busy doesn't mean you got to be stressed. I'm crazy busy right there with you, but it can be easier. Next time you're on a run, just make it more fun and listen to The Run with Manny Wilson.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first. The best sports podcast there is, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. It's time for the callers. Let's see what they was talking about and what they left us in the voicemail. And you can always give us a call at 219-413-9405. Say what's on your mind. Tell us how you really feel. Ask a question. Leave a comment. Leave some facts. Leave some stats. Whatever you want to do. All right, let's jump in. Let's see who we got first here. All right, and let's play it. Let's crank this music just down just a little bit here. All right, let's kick it off.
Yo, Manny, it's Chase. I love the podcast. Love what you're doing, man. But my question is, as you see from game one, the Heat did their thing. They came back, beat Boston, won first game. Now, do you think they got what it takes to be, the champions? Do you think Butler got it in them? Do they got it in them? Let me know what you think, man.
All right, okay. So Chase, man, look. First, I appreciate everybody that called in. I see it's a few of them in here. But first things first, yes, man, the Miami Heat, they're a good team. They can definitely win. I just think the Celtics are going to win, but I'm not going to put that into the equation right now. I think the Celtics are going to win, but Miami, if they beat whoever wins out of Miami and Boston are going to the championship, and they're going to win most likely. I think both teams individually and as a unit are probably better than those teams in the Western Conference, just because they got size and they can play in so many different type of styles. So to answer the question, yes, the Miami Heat, they have what it takes. It's just, can they get past the Celtics, which is debatable, which is very debatable, because some people may say, yes, it's easily getting past the Celtics, and others may say, nah, Celtics in 6, like me. But that's a good one, though. That was a good question here. Let's move on to the next, see what y'all talking about.
What's up, Manny? This is Eric Clater. Hope you're doing well and love listening to the show.
Appreciate it.
Calling you about how the NBA draft lottery went down, because as you are being a Pistons fan and me as well, I feel like our fellow Pistons fans may be overreacting to us falling to the 5th pick in the draft. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on how the draft lottery went down for the Pistons?
That's a good question, man. Hey, Eric, that's a good question, man. I think people are overreacting. They're definitely overreacting just a little bit, because we could have easily, here's my thing, we could have easily ended up like the New York Knicks, or we could have easily ended up like one of them teams that got 12, 11, and that's no fun at all. And then you got to look at it from a realistic standpoint too, because we just got the number 1 pick last year. We just received the number 1 pick last year. We got Cade out of it. So if we would have got another number 1 pick, then that's just like, obviously we're getting spoiled. But I think we're already getting spoiled after getting that number 1 pick, because we got number 5. 5 isn't bad at all. But to answer that question, definitely overreacting just a tad bit, man. Just a tad bit. Appreciate you calling in, Eric, my guy. All right, let's move on to the next. See what they're talking about here.
Shit, man. Why everybody keep down these Kansas City boys just because Russell is different, man?
Oh man. He started in the middle.
What's up, man? This your man's Boots, man. Got a question, man. Why everybody keep down these Kansas City boys just because Russell is different, man? Let me know something, man.
Oh my gosh. Boots, we done Hey, man, I can't believe you seriously called up here and asked me that, Boots. Are you serious, dude? You are hilarious for that, man. No, man, Kansas City is through. They through. I get y'all got Pat Mahomes, and y'all are probably not going to be terrible. I'll give you that. Y'all not going to be terrible, but y'all not winning no Super Bowl. Y'all can forget about that. Pat, he done lost a lot of his weapons. He done lost some defensive pieces as well. Tyrann is gone. And obviously Tyreek Hill is gone. But on the bright side, you still got Travis Kelce, and you still got Pat Mahomes, and you still got a pretty decent offensive line as well. But the Chiefs, man, they just not going to be what they were. They're just not going to be what they were. And they'll still be okay. They might get a little bit far in the playoffs, but I mean, what's the excitement of going to the playoffs if you don't win anything? But that's why. That's to answer your question. That's why people are hating on the Chiefs, and it's not even hate. It's just being real. It's not even hate. But no, appreciate you calling, Booze. You crazy for really calling up here and asking that. I thought you was joking when you said that. All right. Next question. Let's hear it.
What's up, man? TJ. My question is, what are your predictions for this upcoming NFL season? Who you think will win MVP? You think will be like the top dogs in each conference? Yeah.
Okay. No, that's a good question, TJ. Yeah, okay. And this it works perfectly because we just got done talking about the Chiefs and how they not gonna do nothing. But my top dogs of who I believe is gonna be like the animals of this season, I'll break it down per conference for you. AFC, I'm really favoring the Denver Broncos to come out the AFC. Just because all they've needed was a quarterback for so long. Like, they've had a good defense. They got the weapons. They got the receivers, the running backs, the personnel, the offensive line. They have the personnel. Like, they're a good team. And the defense, I think I mentioned already, is nice. They just needed a quarterback. And when you add the dangerous Russell Wilson to that, man, come on now. Like, them boys are about to ball out. And to me, they don't get enough hype. It's a lot of hype going around right now. But AFC, definitely Denver Broncos. NFC is going to be a toss-up. Part of me still wants to favorite the Rams. But then again, it's a lot of competition. It's a lot of competition. You got Brady that just came back. And part of me is actually kind of worried about the New Orleans Saints as well. I think Jameis Winston, might really come out and ball. But to pick a team in the NFC too, I'll go with the Rams. I go right back to the Rams just because they lost a couple pieces, but they still got a strong defensive line. They still got Stafford, and they still got good pieces. So I'm going with the Rams. But I will say, before I move to the next caller too, I will say in the AFC, although I picked the Denver Broncos, I think the Bills it's time to give them just a little bit of respect. I think they'll probably end up playing the Denver Broncos in a conference, if anything, because they've been balling. They've been consistent these last few years, and they've been doing their thing. We just got to give them a little bit more respect. So that's me giving the Bills the respect. But still, I'm rolling with the Denver Broncos. They're going to be the top dogs to answer your question. Appreciate you, my guy. All right, let's hear what we got next. Let's move to the next question. All right.
Yo, Manny, it's your boy Julian, calling in with a little question, comment. Then, bro, what's your take on the Celtics Heat series?
Glad you asked.
They need you.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Actually, I just finished touching on the Celtics Heat a couple times, but no, I think it's going to be a great series. I will accept, and where I was just a tad bit wrong, I came in just not giving Miami a little bit of the respect that they deserved. Clearly, they showed me a little bit wrong in the game one, but I'll admit when I was wrong. I always admit when I'm right, so I admit when I'm wrong. But no, I think Celtics still gonna come out on top. Celtics in 6. It's gonna be a battle. Game one was a fill-out game. Miami, they did play good basketball in that second half, and they pulled away. But the Celtics, they struggled to make their shots, and they didn't really get anything going that whole second half. They star Jason Tatum ain't do much the first or the second half either. After having a huge first half, it seemed like they really got a little complacent, and they just kind of looked as if, all right, we can just cruise to the finish line, where Miami, no, they got some dogs on there. They're going to come back and fight the same way the Celtics would have came back and fight too. So it's an even series. Going to be great, but I'm still going Celtics in 6 with ease. All right, let's see. Next question here. What we got?
What's going on? My name is Jared Bell, and my question for you is, where does Chris Paul go from here?
Ooh. The Chris Paul, that's a good question, Jared. I like that one. As far as Chris Paul, man, look, y'all kill me, man. It's just mainly media. It's killing me because people dog at Chris Paul. They talk about, well, Chris Paul need to retire. The whole Suns just need to be traded. Look, man, I get it was a closeout game. They didn't do their thing. They underperformed like we've never seen in a long time. But Chris Paul, he should, as long as he can play, and if he can still play and like be healthy and stuff, then yeah, he can play another season. But I think that whole notion of him possibly getting a ring before he retired, that's done. That's done. And then when you look at where he could possibly go if he were going to get traded, it's where would you even send him that would put him in a better situation to possibly win a ring than where he is now? He literally has no other option than the Phoenix Suns as his best choice if he really wants to win a ring. And even with the Phoenix Suns, they're not going to win a ring within this last few years of Chris Paul. It's a lot of talent, and the talent in the league is tremendous right now. You got Milwaukee still, Boston, Miami, and I know that's a slightly different conference, but still, even you got the upcoming Grizzlies, you got the Dallas Mavericks. Like, you got so much heat coming up, and the Suns, they still ain't paid Ayton yet. That's another big thing. They still got to pay DeAndre Ayton. And we don't even know if they're going to pay him. So if that gets disbanded, if he gets traded somewhere else, it's really a wrap for Chris Paul and them. But he can retire. I think that would probably, but if he want to play basketball, just play basketball. But he ain't about to win a ring. To answer the question, that's where he goes. All right. I think this is the last one that we have. Let's hear it.
Yeah. How you feel about game one of the Warriors versus Mavericks series?
I'm glad you said that too, because we actually about to touch on that in a sec. But I ain't gonna give away much of the gems. The game one was cool. Game one, it was a blowout. But I think a lot of people are overreacting for game one. I'm hearing a lot of sweeps. I'm hearing Warriors in 4, Warriors in 5. I personally, when I first talked about this, I said Warriors in 7. I put it all the way out there. And part of me still believes it can go to 7, even after this terrible game one. But the one thing I seen in game one was that it was just terrible shooting. When you look at the Warriors, they played a solid game. And the Dallas Mavericks, they just shot horrible that game. When you look at, the first half, I'm not in a segment yet, but the first half, where did they go? I got to find it. They shot 3 for 19 3 for 19 from the 3-point line in the first quarter. 7 for 26 in the first quarter. Like this, it was a terrible shooting night for the Dallas Mavericks, and they just couldn't get nothing to drop. So whenever one team got everything rolling, they making shots, and the other still can't make shots, they're gonna look like they're that much better. And that's regardless of whoever's playing in any game. So I still think it can possibly go to 7. To be a little more safe, I would say 6, but I don't want to switch it now. I don't already, like, you feel me? I don't already said it now. But with that being said, man, that's a perfect transition, Max. I appreciate you for that, man. That was the perfect transition of our next topic in the next segment, actually, because that was exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so in game one, last night's game one, the Golden State Warriors, they stomped on the Dallas Mavericks 112-87. This game one was pretty much all Warriors, all Golden State. They played good. The Warriors, they looked great, took good shots. They made all of their good shots. They moved the ball. Everybody touched the sugar. Everybody got a little bit of sugar, and they played good defense too. But it's a reason why they look so good, as I was just mentioning. It's no need to over-exaggerate or overlook this. It was simple. The Dallas Mavericks just did not make their shots to start this game, and you had the Warriors who were playing great basketball through the first quarter and so on, and they never looked back. But it's hard for a team to even come close and stay close in a game when they're not making shots. The first half, we looked at it in Dallas. They were still in striking range, which is impressive. And this is why I say it's possible it can still go to 6 or 7. I voted 7, but this is why I say it's still possible. Because although they were missing all of their shots, and you had Luka out there broke, you had Brunson out there broke, then Whitty was broke, Burton's. These are all shooters. They were all missing shots, but yet they were still in the range of 10 points within this game. Throughout the first half. And the Warriors were playing good basketball. It wasn't like the Warriors was out there clanking as well. They were playing good basketball. And that's what I really believe will be the pivotal point in turning game 2 around, because if Dallas comes out there and they make shots, we have a different ball game. And this is a completely different discussion if Dallas was out there making shots, if Luka was making most of his shots. Luka had 18 in the first half. He had 18 in the first half, and it wasn't a good percentage. But my whole reason of saying he had 18 in the first half is because he only scored 2 points in the second half. Like that's when Luka Doncic is only giving you 2 points in the second half. Like, that says something. And they just didn't play good basketball, and they were just missing their shots because they got the same looks. The Dallas Mavericks got the same looks they always get and they always go for. They just didn't happen to fall, and that was the main thing. For this series right here. I think it was good, though. Definitely expecting something different for game 2. Game 2 will be different. But if Dallas comes out there and they're missing their shots again, then we know what we're going to get. But also it depends on if the Warriors will come out and miss their shots too. It's as simple as the Warriors, they're not going to sweep the Mavs. Mavs just have to make their shots. Warriors have to continue to play good. But we know how the Warriors can get sometimes. They got beat by 50 a week ago. Let's not forget that. Yeah, I can't forget that at all. But with that being said, man, I still have the Warriors in 7. It's going to be a great series here. I appreciate you guys for hanging with me, especially all of my callers. Man, y'all the greatest. Y'all really the greatest. Y'all really the greatest, man. I greatly appreciate you guys. I can't wait to post this and show you guys. This is about to be dope here. But if you didn't get a chance to call in and you're listening, you could always call in anytime. Every time we record, we will play it. It don't matter if you call in on a Saturday, Sunday. We record on Mondays and Thursdays. So just keep that in mind when you want to place your message. And if you want to give us a call back, or you want to call again or respond to what I may have said, or even touch on one of these next games that's coming up, just give us a call at 219-413-9405. One more time. 219-413-9405. I had to say it slow that time. Y'all can write it down. But no, I appreciate you for hanging with me. We will be back next week on Monday, so get those voicemails in, and so on and so on and so on.